What's good, NBA fans? Welcome back to the channel. We're here. Tip-off is tonight. We got Lakers Nuggets and we got Warriors Suns. I'm so excited to be back to watching NBA basketball. My name is Gifted. I cover a lot of basketball content. For the offseason, I've had nothing to talk about, so I chose to dedicate myself to doing a project where I cover all 30 teams, their 2023 season, their offseason headed into 2023, and the overall direction of each team. My last installment of that podcast series is going to be with my team, the Golden State Warriors. That podcast will drop later today. Ironically, I just have to edit it. I haven't had time to get everything out, but that's coming. But for the purpose of this video, this is a preview into the matchups for opening night. So I want to start with Lakers Nuggets. Obviously, I'm a Warriors fan. We're going to save them for the end because they are the last matchup of the night. But for Lakers Nuggets, I'm super excited. So obviously, this is a rematch, essentially, from the Western Conference Finals of last year, where Denver beat the Lakers in 4 straight games. Although the series was competitive in those games, the Nuggets always just had a clear advantage in terms of shot making and also decision making. So I feel like coming into this matchup, especially on ring night where the Denver Nuggets are finally going to get their championship rings, for all that's been said about how Jokic doesn't care about basketball and how he only wants to be with his horses, I do believe that when they put the rings on, it's going to be emotional for Jokic. It's going to be emotional for Jamal Murray. And I say this because of the journey that they've had together with Mike Malone and how at any point the front office could have just moved on and said, this isn't working out, let's trade one or the other. They literally had Jokic fighting with Yusuf Nurkic for who was going to be the starter of the team at one point. And they went from that to a NBA champion, the Denver Nuggets, who have never had a franchise championship before this. So this is a tremendous moment, not just for the team, of course, but for all Nuggets fans. And if you are a Nuggets fan, let me know how the championship feels. Let me know what you think about your matchup tonight. But that brings me to the other side, the Lakers. This is a team that had a hellacious regular season, traded a lot of their players mid-trade deadline, put a team together and made it to the Western Conference Finals. We lost to them. I hate that. We'll get to that in another video. But ultimately, with the Lakers, this is a team that came so close to going to the finals, didn't quite make it. And for all summer, Denver really talked their talk, and I'm a fan of it. I got to be honest. We have to stop living in such like a soft era where we get mad at champions talking cash like they're not champions. When you win the title, you have the right to talk to whatever team however you want because you won. So Denver absolutely has that right. But just because they have that right does not mean that the Lakers can't remember these things, keep it as bulletin board material. So when it's time to come out and ruin ring night for them on the road, this would be the night for the Lakers to do it. Anthony Davis was already talking about how they've heard their comments and they're keeping it in mind. And even KCP coming out and talking about how they had to bust their ass. Like, this is going to be a matchup that's going to be very competitive. I feel like a lot of people have it being a blowout. I don't. I think both teams want to set the tone. I think Denver wants to show why they're Denver. Jokic is a very stone-faced individual, but I think even for Jokic, he still wants to be able to play at a high level and maximize his teammates. And this is going to be a emotional type of game for both teams, especially Denver, who's going to be so infatuated with the ring, but also having to move on from that and embrace that this is a new season. And if they want to win again and be one of the rare teams to win 2 championships back to back, that they're going to have to lock in. So I think this is going to be a great and interesting matchup. Austin Reeves off of his Team USA performances, seeing him coming back to a regular season where he's primed to have a potential most improved season alongside LeBron and Anthony Davis. That should be fun. Also, this Lakers roster just looks to have the continuity from last season. They have a bit more consistent shooting, so it should be a fun matchup. I think I'm still going with Denver. I think they are the class of the NBA. How they play basketball makes a ton of sense. And also in the preseason, if you've been watching, of course, Denver's younger talent has been very good, and they've won a good amount of games during the preseason. So for me, I'm excited to see how that shapes up. It's going to be a very fun matchup. Go tap into that at 7:30. The Golden State Warriors versus the Phoenix Suns. As we all know, this is the matchup of all matchups. this is the matchup that I'm super duper excited for, because we finally get a chance to see Kevin Durant back against the Golden State Warriors on their home floor. We have not been able to see that for quite some time since he was last a Warrior. We just haven't really seen it. So getting a chance to see that opening night is going to be fun. Obviously, there's no Draymond, so that's unfortunate, but we still have Steph Curry versus Kevin Durant, which obviously still sparks a ton of debate in 2023. Don't really know why, because I think Steph is just better than KD. But anyway, it's going to be a fun matchup. I'm very excited to see the Warriors adjust to having no Draymond. I think the answer is going to be either to slot Kuminga into the starting lineup or to slot GP2. I think GP2 makes a ton of sense from the perspective that if he's out there with Andrew Wiggins, you now have two guys to basically throw at Booker and Bradley Beal and another body for KD. I think having no Draymond, you might just have to sacrifice the rebounding and go small if you bring in Kuminga as like the small ball five. But the thing is, you're going to have a lot of length and athleticism at all spots with the shooting. I think the X factor for the Warriors in this game is Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson's name has obviously been out there in terms of his extension talks not quite working out, and him being super motivated to have a revenge season and be a very good version of himself and return to, you know, at least being a positive defender. So I think for Klay, he's going to come out trying to set the tone. And obviously Klay is a really wild card for the Warriors in general, because for years he's always been a guy that is not afraid of whatever the score is going to shoot a ton of bad shots, and he's going to make a ton of bad shots. He's also going to miss a ton of bad shots. And I just hope that for Klay Thompson, he's able to play into the pace and the rhythm of how the Warriors play basketball and understand that just playing with that sense of control and not rushing things, he's going to find his shot regardless anyway. Klay Thompson has the green light because he's still one of the best volume shooters in the league. Last year had his best volume three-point shooting season ever, right? So for Klay, I think he's going to be big in the fact that the way you have to attack the Suns is you have to put pressure on them defensively. Nurkic and drop coverage is something we should be able to eat at and exploit consistently. And also having Steph and Klay run off the ball should be expending the energy of a Bradley Beal and of a Devin Booker when they share the floor together. Both of those players are technically questionable for the opener, but I'm pretty sure they're all going to play. And if that happens, Golden State has to get out in transition, play with pace, and push the ball off of their defense. For years, the reason why Golden State's been such a formidable team outside of the super team Warriors is literally because they would get the rebound, push it, find threes in transition, and play with quickness and pace. And that brings me to the next big X factor outside of Klay Thompson, Jonathan Kuminga. I think Kuminga has been a great performer during the preseason. I think that's going to continue on into the regular season. I like his athleticism, and when he checks into the game, how much rim pressure as a team we get more of, because really on this team, there's not that many players that can take the ball from the three-point line to the paint and attack closeouts. And Kuminga is excelling at that. His above the rim verticality just adds so much with the spacing that we have. And as quiet as kept, his three-point shot has been falling at a great rate in preseason. And I get it. It's preseason. We no longer have to like say it's preseason, so we don't care. The season is officially starting, but I still think preseason is huge for building up your confidence and your reps in terms of your rhythm headed into the season. I'm not just going to outright say preseason doesn't 100% matter. I think it does from that perspective, but I do think this is where we have to see, okay, how confident is Kuminga when he misses his first 2-3 shots? How is he going to go? I think if he just keeps the same approach, he's going to be a very good piece. But in terms of this matchup, it's going to be competitive. I think this is going to be a nice up and down game. I think the Suns have more firepower in terms of high-end talent. But again, the Warriors as a team with Dario off of their bench, with GP2 slide in for that defensive pressure, and with Steph and Klay, we still have a chance to win the game. My official pick, I'm still unsure. I'm leaning Suns, but honestly, it's opening night. It's at home, so I'm going to go Warriors, even though I do respect what the Phoenix Suns have to offer. So overall, those are my thoughts on both of those matchups. If you're a fan of NBA content, tap into the channel. We got a lot of videos and bangers coming. I'm also going to be streaming this game live on Playback. Playback will be in the description below, so make sure to tap in for that if you want your hoops fix tonight. I also have a schedule of the games I'm going to be playing that will be on my Twitter, so make sure to tap in for things of that nature. But I'll catch you guys in the next upload, which should be the Warriors podcast later today. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. But peace out, people. Have a good one and appreciate NBA hoops. We haven't had hoops for quite some time, so I'm super excited to get back to it. But peace out, people. Let's get right to it tonight.